Hello, everybody, and welcome back to some more MCC action. We're coming back again today. We have a game a little bit later on. If you guys did happen to miss the one that happened a little bit earlier today, we got a confirmation that CSUF is going to be going through to the upper bracket in the playoffs, and WKU will be dropping down into the play-in. So we'll have to see what kind of results that comes up with. But right now, we're getting ready for some Group C action. And with me, I have Fast. How are you doing? And what are your thoughts on the match?
I'm doing great. And, looking at Kentucky and looking at Michigan, Kentucky's a team that I feel like all these teams are 1-1 realistically. So when you look at Group C, the reality is the winners of these two Group C matches will end up going to the playoffs, and the losers will be down to the play-in. And it's funny because all these teams are tied at 1-1, depending on the certain combinations of who wins each matchup, will affect the seeding in a variety of different ways. So this one will be fun to watch for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, kind of continuing with what you were saying, we truly don't even know who is making it out of this group and who is going to be like the number one seed, because the differentials are really close. If you're looking at Group C right now, the highest difference we have is +2. And I feel like that's absolutely nothing with some of the score lines that we've seen in some of these games throughout all these series and all that. It's really anyone's game, and right, we could be watching whoever snags the number one seed, but nonetheless, whoever wins this does make it through to the upper playoffs. So, very important match nonetheless, and an interesting one at that, because this entire Group C is very much so evenly balanced. So, truthfully, for me, I feel like anyone can take it.
Well, tell me, who in particular do you think will take this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's. I feel like it's a tough decision. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna be going with Kentucky here. I think that, you know, new team on the block, kind of. Obviously, we've already been through 2 weeks. This is gonna be our third week of the summer circuit, but I think they have what it takes to get in to the top. I do think they're probably going to be snagging the number 2 seed, all things considered. With Nebraska and Texas Tech on the other end, I think Nebraska is going to hold strong in that number 1 spot. But my prediction is on this game, and it's going to be for Kentucky, not for the entire group. Who do you think is going to take this one?
I mean, in terms of the Nebraska leading the group, I can certainly agree with you there. But I do have Michigan winning this one. And Michigan's a team that, if you tuned in to season 1 of the MCC back in the spring, Michigan could be on some wild swings. And
Yes,
with
yes,
with
they
a
did.
league that has had so many teams with varying results at varying times, Michigan was just one where every week was a wild card, and they were just really fun to watch. Whereas Kentucky, I forget the order of the games, but they did get swept by Nebraska, and then they did beat out Texas Tech. Um,
Mhm.
and then on the side of Michigan, they actually pulled out a win over Nebraska. That was pretty unexpected at the time, but then they got swept by Texas Tech. So it's a very interesting set of results. But at the end of the day, give me Michigan for this one.
Honestly, again, I think that's fair, and I do feel like this can swing either way. Both of these teams have had, I mean, honestly, the entirety of this group has had ups and downs. All of them are 1-1 right now. So, very much so up in the air as for who could win this. And I mean, it makes all the more sense for the desk to be split in that case, one going for obviously Kentucky and one going for Michigan. I know we did flip a coin before the broadcast started, and the coin did go for Kentucky just because we knew we were going to be splitting the desk. So the coin didn't have the best record last season, if I'm correct. But hey, maybe this is a chance before playoffs start for it to get a better leg up than it has in the past. But nonetheless, we will be getting into this game in a moment, as it seems like all of the players have joined the lobby. We're just sorting out a few things, but we will be seeing Kentucky on the blue side and Michigan on the orange once we get everything set up. Since Fast, you seem to very much so favor Michigan in this match. What are you looking at relative to some of their play styles, some of what they do?
I mean, Michigan to me is just a team. Um, I just remember from watching them in the spring that they can make some nice team plays happen. It's just some really special plays, really, and the gameplay will speak for itself as we get into game one here. Kentucky on the blue side, as you would expect, with Michigan on the orange, and Michigan making an offensive front early. See if they can put it away.
See if they can. Very quick answer for Kentucky here, sending it to the opposite corner, but it seems like we might be entering a little bit of back and forth as Spence almost dunks his own teammate. AJ throwing a ball towards net right now. It seems like both of these teams are going to start entering that phase of getting used to each other, seeing what each other is capable of, although some awkward defense coming through and some awkward offense coming through as well. We'll have to see how this recovers as Say does put that center, and that might be a shot on net. Top left corner, and Michigan, they're going to start off with scoring.
That's a fantastic slot at AJ right there. And Spence was trying to get a piece of that one. Unfortunately, getting beat. And Michigan will go up to start this series. So I could see some swings happening back and forth where Kentucky ends up leading at various points, unless Michigan really just runs away with it. But we could even see that right now as Spence puts one just to the left. However, Note Art will bring that back for Michigan. And now we're kind of battling in the mid-ground. And I feel like if you're Michigan, you would rather keep the pressure up, considering that got you a goal to start this game off.
Yes, and definitely I think that will have a good say in things because I've seen a little bit of aggression start to come through from Kentucky. So if you want to make sure you're keeping the pressure up as AJ dives for a beautiful save close to the crossbar and a massive clear comes through that is heading towards net and bouncing off the post, Marcy's able to get behind it. Some scrambling defense here from Kentucky. And hey, the pressure you were talking about, them wanting to hold on to, they're definitely holding on to it. And any aggression that I might have been talking about is, well, not going to be needed here because of a little bit of awkwardness on the defense here.
Yeah, I mean, that is quite a situation, but it did lead to a Kentucky open net. And I feel like now my caster curse is turning into the caster is right. My insights are coming through here, but Kentucky now on the back line looking to get this one out. Parse on the left wall, nothing quite doing, and that is a almost slot by Elro. A good attempt, but Kentucky seeming to kind of feed the ball back to Michigan at various points, and now Elro from the left corner, who's there? No dart off the crossbar. Elro will take this one back to AJ, who will not quite make it to the crossbar, but it will get saved.
It's saved, and I mean, hey, Michigan, again, keeping up the pressure, whether or not it's shots that were ringing off the crossbar or just, sort of looks center. It's something that's really holding back this Kentucky team right now as they're just trying to possess it off their own backboard, off their own corner, and they can't even do that because AJ's jumping in, popping it up, and Notre Dame's immediately following it, although Surrey will get a quick follow-up to at least change the side of the field they're operating on. A shot possibly coming through, not quite, just a little wide, and might be seeing some resistance here, but so far, Michigan seems to be holding on.
I mean, for sure. We'll just have to see if we can get this ball out of the Michigan half, off of the whiff by Kentucky. However, this one might be a double. Parcel set that up nicely, and let's see what happened here. I mean, Michigan, no one quite ready to go for that, and the double commit is just too late. And Kentucky finds the back of that Michigan net to go up in this game.
Yeah, you were talking about the fact that this game might be a decent bit of back and forth. We might have some swings, and right off the bat, Michigan might have been the first one to score, but they're not the one in the lead right now, as Kentucky will send this ball all the way to the other side of the field. Elro's going to take possession out of his corner. It's a little slow to it, does run out of boost, but gets a 50 enough for Nodart to take it to the back wall. Following it up again. It seems like they're trying to play themselves out of their own half. It's just not working. Kentucky getting this good moment of possession, although in this case, they're going to have to take it off their own backboard as Parsay gets a pop over one, but Nodar immediately jumping on the opportunity, and we'll see if Michigan might be able to hold on to that pressure that did them so well earlier on in the game.
I mean, Kentucky seemed eager to kill clock with that maneuver. Hopefully it will not come back to bite them if Michigan goes ahead and ties things up. Elro might be getting that started off of the flick there. Okay, AJ has some room to work with now. Almost certainly going to beat Zuri. Actually, he'll fake it, and Zuri will end up winning that encounter. AJ back to the drawing board. Spence will go past Elro off the right wall. And if you're Michigan, you're kind of just letting Kentucky command the end of this one, and you got to make something happen here.
Yeah, that is absolutely right. Right now, I don't even think they can get out of their own half. This is the first time I've seen the ball get into the blue half in I don't want to say a minute because that's a long time in a game, but it kind of feels like that as we are immediately heading back. And Zuri, a little bit of a handoff, I believe, but we might have an opportunity here. They're able to put a flick on, but Parsay getting behind it. Nodart, he's going to stay behind it too, flicking it up. Is anyone there? Yes, but with some good defense from Spence, I believe, Kentucky is going to hold on to their 1-goal lead and go 1-up in the series.
I mean, I would wager that if AJ had waited just a little bit there was room for maybe a bump play or some other flick. The flick was just a little bit unfortunate in terms of the placement, but a good attempt nonetheless will get saved, and Kentucky will go up to start this game. Give me game 5. I think we're seeing a game 5 today, to be honest with you. These teams, after that game, they are looking really evenly matched, and I'm still in favor of Michigan to take this one. I think they come back, but what do you think about that?
I think we're going to at least see game 4. 100%. I agree that there is going to be a lot of fighting back that is going to occur in this game. Obviously, it was only a 2-1 win, and at the end there, Michigan started getting some good possession and started putting some good pressure on the net. So, we'll have to see what this game number 2 is going to look like, because that is going to have to be when Michigan responds, because a reverse sweep, though it's possible, we did see a reverse sweep from Kansas State earlier in this summer circuit. It's pretty hard to do that. So they definitely don't want to throw themselves in that situation as we get geared up for game number 2 on Farmstead. And right away, a quick, simple diagonal kickoff is going to go in favor of Kentucky. Spence starting right off the bat, doesn't get the 50, and Michigan might be starting off with a little bit of speed in this as AJ goes for a massive dunk. Nodar trying to stay behind it. It's going to be on their backboard, but big clear, big touch forward, a little bit of a double commit. They're still at least showing signs of decent progress forward.
I mean, when's the last time you've seen some high-level Rocket League played on Farmstead? It's really a beautiful, beautiful scenery here. Let's see if Zuri can make some of it with a nice little air dribble over to the other side to be contested by Nodart. And now, with all odds, Michigan will probably take this back the other way. Elro. AJ in the corner. Zuri, not quite there. Spence with a clutch save of Nodart's shot there. And Kentucky's not getting scored on quite yet. Pinch into their corner of Michigan. And Michigan will hold off for now.
Will hold off, but actually, massive fake, I guess, would be the word to put it. I don't want to call it a whiff. Does come through, and this will make it so that Michigan has some decent pressure. Ball off the backboard, a slow shot forward. Zuri able to get behind it. Will he stay behind it? No, not quite, but this does give Kentucky some room to breathe and a chance to clear it all the way to the other side of the field. This might be a little bit of Michigan starting to lose some of the pressure that they need to really get these goals. A double commit happening on defense and a bump coming through, but bouncing off of the post. Kentucky not able to capitalize on that, but they will keep possession as they play off their own backboard.
I mean, that's a goal you want if you're Kentucky. You know, if you're Kentucky, you just did your job right there, containing the pressure of Michigan and keeping the ball on their side. And when the opportunities arise, you got to take advantage because now Michigan is the one who's looking to make things happen. Elro moving it into the corner off the back wall. Parsey with a nice clear. AJ, what a touch. Reset. Let's see if he can make another one happen. Who was that? I think Nodart, very eager to keep that play moving. Unfortunately, takes AJ, or whoever it was, out of it. Elro now into the corner. And this is what you really like if you're Kentucky. Just keeping Michigan and preventing them from doing what they just did 20 seconds ago. Elro will get this nice 50. AJ will say not quite, but he will go for the flick now, and Kentucky will deny.
Yeah, and I kind of want to continue with what you were saying in the sense that I don't necessarily think that Kentucky is sitting here and putting like shot after shot after shot on net. They're kind of just controlling and keeping the ball on the other side. I mean, obviously, right now, this is one moment where we see a glimpse of Michigan kind of like break through. But right now, it's just like, look, center. Oh, okay, if we can't get it center, we have someone back to get a clear up field, try and possess it. Not the most favorable touch in the world, but someone's already back. They just have good command of the field right now, and that's what's keeping this Michigan team from doing anything. It's not an overwhelming success from Kentucky by any means. It's just they are controlling the pace and making sure that everything is happening when they want it to happen. And by this point, it's starting to feel like it's only a matter of time until a shot might go in and the pressure starts to become too much, as Zuri is going to play this towards the backboard, but Elro, having to possess it in his own corner, does get bumped, gets bumped by his own teammate. A series of bumps coming through. Spence trying to put a shot on net, not close enough to count as one for the stat sheet, but the pressure stays on.
Absolutely. In a game like Rocket League with such mental depth at times, it really is such a great situation to be able to just literally prevent the other team from doing anything. Like if you can sit in their half and have the ball in your possession and know that nothing's going to happen. But AJ not quite agreeing with that, able to get it past a little bit. And we're looking at a 2v1 now by Kentucky. Nodart able to hold off, but Spence is not done yet. This will almost waterfall down. Zuri with an attempt into the corner. See who's there for Kentucky. No one. All right, now it's AJ the other way for Michigan. Let's see if Elro can do anything. And now we're back into this corner. And a very low-scoring affair in this game, too. I thought the caster curse was real. Not real quite yet. AJ continuing to push it down. Nodart, let's see what he can do here. Is a double in the cards? No, but Elro's there, and he will put it away. Michigan will go up with 15 seconds left in this game, too. And at this point, very likely to equalize the series.
I mean, hey, that's exactly what they need. Demo defender and then one that's caught a little bit too far on his back wheels, leaving the net almost wide open, but Zuri's going to try and say something about it, 50ing AJ on the backboard. Immediately, Kentucky is on the offense, trying to get this ball just towards the net somehow. They are low on boost. Sparse just got a 100, but with a dive on to maybe try and pop it up the sidewall, it will end up hitting the ground. Michigan is going to take this game number 2, and we are tied up in the series.
I mean, we really just have a great match on our hands. I mean, we saw Kentucky, like we were talking about earlier, maintaining a perception of control for most of that game, but it ended up just going 0-0 and Michigan able to find the single opportunity that they need to just get on the board. And that's what I love about the MCC. There's just so much variation in, what certain teams can do at certain times. And, if you're Kentucky, you like that control, but I guess you're going to need more than that if you want to win this series.
Yeah. And truthfully, I do feel like it's important to mention that Kentucky had the most shots throughout the entire game. They had a grand total of 7 shots, while Michigan only had 5. which means that, yeah, they are the ones who are generating some opportunities, but they're not opportunities that are fully coming through in the way that would be, getting a goal and maybe tying up that game. Or if they got the goal earlier, maybe they could have just won it. But we will have to see whether or not something might change up a little bit coming into this game number 3. We're going to be hanging out in Urban Central for this one as AJ tries to take it to the backboard, but Spence clearing it off to the side, and we're going to start off with Kentucky on the defense.
Not for long. Zuri will kind of bang that out, though, and that will result in Michigan retaining this possession. And we are kind of all over the place in this first few seconds. AJ will go for a 50, not quite yet. Zuri looking to make a statement. And now Parsay will put one off the back wall. Who's there for Kentucky? No one quite yet. And another low activity start. And it's funny because you'd think it would favor Kentucky, but Michigan ended up winning that last game just 1-0, and they were able to find the one opportunity. So I guess if you're Kentucky, you got to try to find some more real shot opportunities. And when you get them, like we saw last game, you got to make sure you hit them.
Yeah. Well, and there's a difference between a, normal opportunity and what you said about a good shot opportunity. There are times where you can just throw the ball towards net and it might help to result in something, but it doesn't really have any sort of like sustenance behind it. And as saying he gets a massive 50 there, we might be able to see one of those good shooting opportunities from Spence, but with a quick jump in, Michigan will stave off the attack for now. As Elro tries to stay behind that, not quite going to get there. AJ calling himself off to let Nodart go. Not going to be able to catch up to it. Spence stopping it, but a decent bit of single efforts coming through here, and one player meeting it for the defense to sort of stall out in this midfield, or at least end up in the midfield. Coming out from Michigan here, although Kentucky generating a chance here. Not really going to be something, some bumping happening in the midfield, and we'll have to see if Michigan can start something up after maybe a few saves have to come through.
Well, here is a promising situation for Nodart off the back wall into Elro. Will he find a teammate mid? The flick over and the bump, but Zuri is there, and Zuri says not quite yet. No generational clips are happening yet, and Michigan is back to the drawing board. Zuri will get another bang opportunity, and what a stop on the side of Kentucky there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like both of these teams are doing that right now. We are to the point in the series where they're both trying to figure each other out and try and counter some of the plays that are happening. Although here, I think this is a little bit more of a capitalizing on an opportunity than a full-blown counterattack, as AJ not quite able to get the clear there, and Spence just had to beat one last defender, getting Kentucky up by 1.
Up by 1. And that's how Michigan won last game. So we got 2 minutes left. Elro is taking Spence right out of the play. Nodart with an advantageous touch to the corner. AJ looking to 50 with absolutely nothing in the tank, and he makes it work. Let's see if Elro can keep pushing this. Not quite. Zuri with a nice touch into the tactical fake by Spence. Nodart looking for a demo. Will not find it, and Parsay with a nice save. And that's one that you probably won if you're Michigan. Zuri on a shot opportunity, and nothing quite yet. And now it's Michigan who is in the position of being down 1 in the final stages of this game.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I kind of keep saying this, but you said there were going to be some swings in this series. I shouldn't just say games. But we might be seeing that, although Michigan definitely going to try and have some kind of say. We only have 1:10 left, but that is still plenty of time to score 1 goal. Nodart getting bumped in the midfield. He was going to challenge that, but I'm going to leave it for AJ to get the 50. He is able to. Being sent to the backboard. One defender misses. Is this a chance for a center to come through? It does come through, but I don't think Elwo was ready for it. After a massive 50, that's going straight center. Not going to be a shot on net, but nonetheless, it seems like we're switching a little bit of pace here. As Nodart not able to get behind that, Kentucky might be able to start controlling the game a little bit more.
I mean, that was a beautiful opportunity. If Nodart was just a little further up for that one, I think that would have found the nets. But now it's Spence off the corner and a demo by Kentucky. Who is there? Zuri. I feel like that could have been an open net.
It very well could have, although right now I am seeing a decent amount of aggression coming out from Kentucky, searching for a demo here and there, although a shot comes through from Elro and Parse able to stay behind it just enough. Big 50 from Nodart. This is going to be close to in front of the net. It is going to bounce kind of in this corner. Two players trying to fight for the ball. And unfortunately, nothing can develop from it. Kentucky are going to take the lead yet again in this series.
And what a way to progress this series. Two back-to-back 1-0 games going to separate teams. We got 5 saves on the side of Kentucky and only 2 for Michigan. See how many shots we got. We got 6 shots for Michigan and 5 for Kentucky. So just a very even game in general. I really find these teams are evenly matched. And even if it's not a flashy sort of even match, it is an even match nonetheless. And going into game 4 now. This will be quite the interesting wrap up to this series. If you were to change anything now, would you change your prediction at this point?
Would I change my prediction? No. I don't think that I need to change my prediction. I did say that this was going to go to game 4. And it is game 4, and my prediction was Kentucky. So I am not far off from being 100% at least with those respects. So I'm looking forward to seeing a win here from Kentucky, but obviously we still have to play the game. Just because they won the last one doesn't mean they're going to win this one. And if we know anything about Neo Tokyo in NA, it never really goes the way that you want it to go. So we'll have to see whether it goes my way or your way as we get into this game number 4, and Kentucky is going to start off with possession, but AJ shutting it down very early.
I'm a believer in this Michigan team, as Nodart will prove me right and put one in the net to start off 11 seconds into this game. Parse is not quite there. Right over Zuri, and Spence just isn't in a position to save that one. And this is a very familiar position for Michigan. So what they got to do now is really hold off Kentucky just like they did in, I believe it was the game that they won 1-0. And they just gotta make sure Kentucky doesn't do what they love to do and put pressure on.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think that one important thing is we might see a shot attempt here, but Parse able to get behind it. One thing I do feel like is worth mentioning is that this game almost feels more like a game of errors than, you know, two offenses that are putting together plays that are absolutely outpacing each other. I think back to the goal that ended up winning Kentucky the game last series, and a few others that we've seen. It's defensive being a little bit too finicky, a little bit too sort of hesitant and jumpy to try and get to a ball, and then it just results in a net that's almost practically wide open with an offensive player that is willing to rush to get there, as Parsley again getting a beautiful save to keep this game to its only 1 goal difference. And right now, I think that's what Kentucky's waiting for. Kentucky is trying to wait for that moment that Michigan's going to make an error that's going to double commit, something that we might see a little bit of clashback coming from Kentucky here, but AJ able to recover and get the 50. That's what they're looking for, I feel like. I feel like they're looking for those opportunities to make the defense jump too much, to make the defense panic, and that's when they're going to strike if they're able to get another goal to tie up this game.
I mean, I feel like that's accurate to the situation we're in right now. Kentucky's just been slamming some shots on net. If you can get one Michigan player to miss or otherwise disrupt the rotations of that team, you know, That's all you need. And they still got a lot of time. They got 3 minutes. So anything can happen here unless Michigan decides to take this lead even further for themselves with a limited set of opportunities there. But now it's Kentucky once again, keeping this ball on the side of Michigan. And that is not quite the touch you want, but Spence will make it work. But it will be No Dart now, pursuing this ball into the blue corner. Elro will decide to turn away. And once again, it's Kentucky on a nice little team play there. No real shot opportunity, but they are just keeping this ball where they want it.
Yeah, although this might be a counterattack chance. Elro, I do think he missed, but I think it was because it was going in. So, nonetheless, we do get another goal here from Michigan to bring them up to 2, which is a pretty big deficit if you consider the games that we've seen so far in this series. Kentucky gonna have to do some serious work to try and get back into this. This will bounce off the crossbar. Parse, as per usual, doing amazing on defense so far. Right now, the only person on that Kentucky team that has a save. He's the one who's keeping them in this if they have any opportunity, as looks like Zuri's going to have to be up and try and stay behind this. No Dart, though, he's having absolutely none of it, and some more 50s are coming through. This Kentucky team, even though they have these moments of offense, these moments of opportunities, Michigan's just, they're holding it down.
The caster curse has never been more back as Michigan puts another one on. AJ will find the... This isn't the largest lead of the series, right?
I thought the lead for game number 1 was 2 goals, but I could be wrong.
Then that's kind of what I thought. So make it 4 maybe? Elro unlucky positioning there, but Michigan in a very confident position now to ice things up and head to Champions Field. But they got to get through another 1 minute and 20 seconds of this Kentucky team who is chasing 3 goals at the moment. Spence will try to get things started. Gets 50'd. And Michigan playing a little bit slower now. They are just getting a nice flick over, and Elro will put another one away, and they are running up the score now. Kentucky lucky that the goal differential is not relevant right now, as Elro puts one away with 2 Kentucky defenders too far up. And this one, if I had to guess, is all but in favor of Michigan.
Absolutely. I mean, 4 goals, that is going to be the largest lead that we see for this series and for the night, if I am correct. Not something that you can really come back from in less than a minute to go, unless we're going to see some serious magic here, some pinches across the field. But by this point, Michigan is just waiting for Kentucky to come to them, as Elro, beautiful defense, just waiting to play behind that ball and get a challenge. AJ going for a sidewall read, not quite going to get it, but again, 30 seconds left, 4 goals to get. This game is, well, all but over.
Unless Zuri were to put that one on net. But yeah, I mean, at this point, if you're Kentucky, you're just trying to feel out any last bit of feeling you can do of this Michigan team, and basically just preparing for the Game 5 in front of you, because the series up to this point is basically just feeding into the Champions Field occurrence. And Michigan will a nice pinch off of, let's see, so that was Parse in conjunction with Elro. That was actually a pretty clean pinch, if I had to say so myself. AJ seems to agree. And Michigan taking Game 4 off Neo Tokyo, and we're going to Champions Field.
Yes, we are. I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. Apologies, because I mean, this is a series to determine who makes it to the upper bracket. Like, this is 2 teams that are trying to make sure that they can have that extra life in the playoffs, and in this case, Michigan getting the upper hand, because truthfully, I feel like Kentucky kind of just started playing a little bit too much on their back feet. I feel like they sort of started trying to reach for the ball too much, started overextending themselves because they wanted to get back into the series, and it just ended up doing them more harm. So we'll have to see if anything else is going to be changed for this Kentucky team coming into this game number 5. If you were to try and sort of like give any advice to Kentucky right now as for maybe some things they should tweak, anything they should change, what would you say to them?
I mean, I would say just make sure to play your game like you did when you were able to hold Michigan to 0. That's what I'd say, because ultimately that's what you want. And, you know, now on Champions Field, this game is the one that matters. Basically, we've had 4 warm-up games heading into this one, if you want to call it that. And Kentucky will have Michigan all up in their half very early, which is something you do not want, as Nodart will have an opportunity on net. I thought that could have been a goal opportunity, and Kentucky will hold off early, and they escape out of that one.
They do indeed, as we're going to see a decent bit of back and forth from this. This is the game 5. This is going to be the determinant for who gets into that upper bracket. So we're going to see a lot of fight from both of these teams. Maybe a little bit of all-in plays. We have 4 minutes to figure it out.
Parse at that moment will put one into the corner of the Michigan net. Elro trying to clear it out, but he just gets taken out the play. And AJ defending the upper shot, and it goes right underneath. So Kentucky able to start things off early, and Parse looking at another goal. He will put a second one on the net and in straight off the kickoff. That is a very favorable kickoff. I believe that was AJ is the second man in Michigan, and he ends up on the left side and not necessarily where you want to be in that situation. So Michigan almost looking at a kickoff opportunity, but Kentucky's in the lead by 2 goals a minute into this game. And we will see if they can increase that in the near future. Parse really looking to put another one on net. Elro, though, will bring things back in the favor of Michigan. And if you're Michigan, you would really like to score in the very near future, because I feel like at this point in the series, we haven't had many instances of a team going up and then losing that game. And AJ now will almost put one on, a save by Zuri on the goal line. And Kentucky looking to clean this one out of their half once again. Elro not quite done yet, and we get a double commit out of Michigan, leaving Nodart with 0 boost. He'll actually get the mid-right. Zuri off of the back, looking for a clear. AJ will do some more damage. And Michigan is doing well to keep this ball in the Kentucky half at the moment. Let's see if they can keep it up. Nodart looking for a shot. That is a heartbreaker. AJ will clean it up, though. And Michigan with a nice little comeback in the series. They're now only down 1 goal. We got 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go. There is a ton of time. This could really go either way, and I'm still a believer in Michigan. So we'll have to see if they can pull it off. But it's now Spence on the back wall, and he will be looking to make a statement for Kentucky. But Nodart will deny that for now.
See if Zuri can maybe do something of himself. He wants to get that 2-goal lead back. Not quite going to be able to get anything super substantial there. Spence having to dive in for a massive 50. That's sending itself all the way into the blue half. And Elro to tie up this game number 5. Reads that bounce off of the top right corner beautifully to the top right corner of the net. Michigan definitely right back in this.
Exactly what you need if you're Michigan, and these teams are basically now evened up with 2 minutes left in this series. 2-2 on the game scoreboard, 2-2 in the series. Zuri off of the backboard, and what a double in that moment. That is a crucial one. And right over Nodart, and Elro is left in net. And you can't really do anything about that one. Kentucky will go up another goal. And Michigan will not be advantageous even with that comeback. Fence to the middle, unfortunately no one there. But now Michigan with a minute 50 in this game. AJ will put one away and tie it up once again. And right past Zuri, and also with the fake on Parsay. That's a beautiful fake. Spence is also too far up. And we are even once again.
I mean, it was only last game that we saw our highest amount of goals. And now all of a sudden we get to game 5 and have a 3-3. Both of these teams absolutely hashing it out right now. Almost a shot opportunity there for Zuri, but not quite able to follow up. AJ getting a big 50, and we're going to see some midfield play between two people with 0 boost. That is a shot on net. I don't think Nodart was ready. And Spence, we're going to bring Kentucky back up by 1.
I mean, it's almost like boxing or MMA where you get to the last round and both players and both teams start throwing all the punches and letting everything go. We've got more goals in this game than probably almost the rest of the series combined at this point. Zuri off the back wall looking to continue this run for Kentucky, and it's really heartbreaking for Michigan because they tied it up at 2-2, and then Kentucky took the lead for 3, and then after Michigan tied it up again, they took another lead for Kentucky. So Michigan just not seeming to be able to hold on to it for very long. AJ looking for a 50, won't quite get it. Elro will go over the Kentucky defender. Parsay left awkward in that back half, but Michigan can't take advantage, and that is a crucial one that you would have wanted, as Kentucky now will try to drain this clock.
Yeah, and I mean, as much as that is an opportunity that Michigan might have missed out on, it's still a sign that obviously there is some cracks in this defense. There is some way through that. Obviously, they managed for 3 goals, but they have to get another in order to stay in this game, not just win it. Big demo coming through here, but Spence catching that very quickly and jumping on the ball. AJ, he's going to have it. We'll see if he can get a reset and a dunk! And that's another tied game!
I mean, that's a beautiful one by AJ. You know, it's kind of funny watching this in real time. Not necessarily the reset scoop you wanted, but it results in a beautiful interaction on the 50 with the Kentucky defender, and Michigan will tie this one up. 15 seconds left, and we are dead even in this series with a whole ton of goals scored this game. Spence looking for one, and all of the Michigan players diving at it because they do not want to lose in this fashion after all that they've done. AJ will go up. Nodart is the last Michigan defender, and this ball will go down. We've got overtime to end this series.
Yes, I mean, I said I couldn't think of any other way for this to end except for a game 5. And you know what? We're going to get a game 5 overtime as it does bounce towards the front of the net. But Michigan able to handle it. Nodart, he's going to stay behind it. Gets a beautiful 50. But Spence, he's going to get behind it for this Kentucky team. Parsay's going to push it out. Not the best clear in the world. Zuri, low boost, able to push it out. We'll see if AJ, he takes a controlling touch. A little bit of confusion for this Michigan team, and it seems like the possession is going to be handed away.
AJ, I guess wanted that one for himself. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out. But now Michigan is back on the offense, and if there were a third teammate there, I think we would have just seen the end of that game in real time. But AJ now with an unfortunate touch. Spence looking for something, not quite able to get it. Parsay now off the corner, and he will get it right in front of the Michigan net with no one there. And Zuri now looking to keep this ball in this half. And, you know, for the 1 second that the ball leaves, the Michigan half, it is now back in their half. Elro off the backboard. A not very advantageous spot if you're Michigan. Parsay to the middle. Zuri, he can't get it. Michigan is not done yet. And AJ, with 0 boost, is now tasked with leading the offensive charge.
My goodness, if they end up winning this match, it is solely going to be because of that defensive stand. And even with that, they still have to play more defense. This Kentucky team is relentless. They don't know when to stop. Zuri is going to hand it down to Spence. Spence trying to get a flick through. Not quite going to reach the back of the net, but Parse trying to possess it on their own backboard. Zuri able to stay behind it. And then Parse, he was already in that corner. He's going to possess it, grab that mid boost, faking for the double jump, not able to get past that last defender, and things seem to have slowed down a little bit, but I might be cursing us a little bit as some more Michigan defense has to come through, or else this game would have been over, but let alone we are still playing.
I want to put a prediction on the record right now that we will have the longest overtime in this game, longer than any other summer circuit match. I'm calling it right now. It's gonna happen. Let's go. We've got to beat the record. I believe 5 minutes and some change. So Spence looking to deny the caster claim of a long overtime at the moment. Parse would be caught off guard by that one. Spence in the corner, and Michigan now playing the role of managing the pressure and keeping the ball in this Kentucky half. Looking for a shot, nothing quite doing yet, but there is a possible opportunity in the cards for Michigan.
Yeah, and I think right now, as you said it, they do have the pace control, I guess would be the best way to say it, as Elro throws that forward, and it's just forcing this Kentucky defense to try and manage whatever they say they need to try to, because right now they're the ones who have got the boost control, got everything in line that they need to. Sure, a double commit comes through here and there, but they are the ones that sort of sit there and say, hey, throw everything you got at us. We're going to throw it right back at you, and you've got to be the one to manage it, because so far we are holding on as this ball will fly off the sidewall. Elro throwing it to the other side. We'll see if he can get up behind it. Yes, he can. Demoed mid-air. In Kentucky, they're going to have to control it in their own half, although with that 50, AJ's going to be up. He might hand it off to his teammate. It's not quite in. Big 50 off the backboard. Is Spence up for it? No, but Nodart isn't either. Zuri isn't either. Some bumps are coming through, and a big 50. Spence, he's going to have to hold on to this. Zuri with a little bit of a pop just to relieve a little bit of pressure. As AJ, he's going to see if he can stay behind it. He can. Nodar puts a shot on net, and Zuri able to stay behind it. We've had some massive defensive stands from both of these teams, and we have 4 minutes and just approaching 30 seconds, and I don't see any leadway for either of these teams so far.
I mean, it's incredible to see this series unfold. We started with 4 games of very low-scoring affairs, followed by this game with 8 goals in 5 minutes, and then now a 4-minute overtime of nothing. And we are basically approaching a full game's worth of time elapsed with no score. And Spence looking to change that now. And Zuri kind of camping this mid boost. He really wants it. I don't know if he needed it, but nonetheless, he will find the corner, and Kentucky with 5 minutes and 6 seconds of overtime, which I don't even know if that's the longest one, actually. It might have been beat by the other series. But over all of the Michigan defenders, and Kentucky walks away as the victors of this series. Zuri wanted it more, and they all wanted it more. And that's just how it goes when you're that evenly matched. That is just an incredible way to end this series.
I would like to point out, Zuri ended up, I'm sorry, my voice is kind of shaky, I'm not going to lie. Zuri ended with 1,139 points. He had 2 goals, 2 assists, 7 saves, and 4 shots on net. He wasn't even the one who shot the most on his team. His 2 other teammates have 5 shots. This Kentucky team was... I don't know how to put it. I know that Michigan had a lot of shots on net, but they were returning fire all their own. And I think we're going to get a chance to talk to the man himself that had insanely impressive stats. Here we are going to welcome Zuri. I mean, how are you feeling after that?
There we go. There we go. How's it going?
Absolutely. It's going good. How are you feeling after that?
Pretty good. I wanted it more. I mean, that's all I can say.
Yeah. Really
After
way to put
last
it.
week, the storms knocked my internet out. Had to call a sub in. I wanted it this week.
I mean, hey, that showed 1,139 points for that. I think I'll go ahead and I'll just start with, I feel like, one of the obvious questions. What was it like in that overtime? Obviously, you guys went to over 5 minutes. How was the nerves? How was the comms? Obviously, you guys ended up taking it the whole way through, but were things getting a little muddy, or were you guys just locked in the entire time?
I could feel I was definitely locked in. I think my teammates were both locked in too. But before we went for the goal scoring possession there, I got back, rotated third, and I kind of we almost got scored on the play before. And I took a breath and I was like, that could have been it. And then I was like, all right, let me lock in. I got 5 seconds to focus here. So I was like, all right, let me look where my teammates are. How much boost do I have? Save on my boost. Go for a play. Went for the play. Slotted it. And that's as simple as that.
I mean, there were times throughout that whole series where it really seemed like, and especially watching it back from an outside perspective, that your team in Kentucky was really just maintaining control over the Michigan squad. Even if they got, one or two breakout shot opportunities every few seconds, there were times that you were really controlling them. How did you end up? How should I say this? How did you end up kind of figuring that out in the moment?
Controlling the game. A lot of pressure. We've been talking about a lot of cutting in our rotations and stuff, which has been a little new for me, especially. Um, and when someone cuts, you gotta let them cook. You gotta let them cook.
Yeah,
And being
I mean,
able to take that control, especially when you're upfield like that, and not have to wait for someone to come back, is something that is hard. It's hard to do, but like it pays off. So
yeah. Yeah, and obviously it did pay off. A little bit of like a entire 10-minute match for it to pay off, but nonetheless, it did. And I mean, to take a little bit of a step away from what was the drama of that match, you guys obviously end up winning and now are in the uppers. You guys are going to be having two lives going into the playoffs. We still haven't figured out seeding yet. You got to have the Texas Tech Nebraska game go
yep,
on
yep.
before we figure that out. But how does it feel? You guys got that extra life, feeling a decent amount of confidence going into the playoffs?
It felt amazing. It was amazing. The goals that were scored, it was like just haymakers. It was like we scored one, they scored one, and we scored one. I think I screamed I wanted more 3 times in that series. But the last one, it was the loudest. It was the loudest for sure. But yeah, I think we're ready. Uh, need to work on a little bit of back post rotation, a couple things. Ball control the game. But I think we'll become prepared for sure.
Glad to hear it. Well, I think at this point we'll let you debrief with the team, and congratulations on your qualification for the upper bracket of the playoff. And we will see you not next week, but the week after that. So have a
Yes,
good one.
yes. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And with
Oh,
that, that is the end of this Kentucky versus Michigan series. And what an ending to that series. That is that was just quite a back and forth, a very enjoyable one to watch. But it does mean that Kentucky will be making it to the upper playoff, and Michigan will be sent to the play-in, which will be next week. And we don't know seeds yet. Kentucky could be first or second. Michigan could be third or fourth within their group, but we will find that out when Nebraska and Texas Tech play each other, which I think is slated for Sunday.
I believe so, yes. So y'all would make sure you want to tune in for that. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, we made it to the end of this one, and I believe we have that series of Nebraska and Texas Tech slated for Sunday. And I think we have one more that is currently in talks for happening on Saturday. I'm not sure exactly, but I think okay. I think if I'm tracking correctly, we got 2 series to go in total. Let me just make sure. But and all that to say, we've got a little bit more action to come in this final week of the group stage of the MCC Summer Circuit, which will be followed by next week's play-in, which will be a whole ton of fun matches between the 3rd and 4th place teams in the group, followed once again by the playoffs, which will be a whole ton of fun there. And a winner of the entire bracket will be crowned during the Summer Championship on Wednesday, July 22nd. So we got a full month ahead of ourselves with some MCC content, and it will be a great time. What do you think about all that, Nivix?
I'm just excited. That's the only way. I feel like this question has been posed to me, and I keep saying the same thing over and over. I say that yes, I'm excited for it, but I don't even think excited really puts it to words well. We have some absolutely amazing teams coming through, and even those amazing teams are in the play-ins, which that means they don't get a life. They don't get that extra life. They have to work through the lower bracket the entire way through. We have some crazy teams in the lower brackets that are starting up. Can you imagine what that means for the upper bracket matches? Like there's so much to be looking forward to when it comes to this, and at the end of the day, we can only crown one summer circuit champion. So you guys are going to have to stay tuned. We obviously have some more matches coming up later in the week, but we have a play-ins coming in after that. All the teams that advance through there go to the lower bracket for the playoffs. And I mean, the playoffs, that's going to be an entire thing in and of itself. So again, as I always say, make sure y'all are staying tuned. Fast, do you have any final words for the stream?
I mean, at this point, make sure you're following MCC Official TV on all social media platforms. We just got that established, and there will be some content coming your way for sure. So, thanks everyone for tuning in, and we will see you once again later this week.